The Mirror from the Other Side, Chapter 1, The Inheritance, The News of Donna. Augusta's death reached Helena on a gray autumn afternoon, bringing with it a strange feeling of emptiness and mystery. Her grandmother, a woman of eccentric habits and slow speech, had died alone in the old family house, nestled among the dense trees of the Mantiquera Mountains. When the lawyer read the will, Helena's name appeared as the sole heir of the property. More than material goods, Helena inherited a story shrouded in silence and superstition. The house, known among older relatives as the House of Mirrors, held an old secret, never openly explained by Augusta. Lena, accompanied by her husband Daniel and their 6-year-old daughter Isadora, decided to visit the place before deciding what to do with the inheritance. Winding dusty road to the house seemed to separate the modern world from what they were about to find. The dense vegetation seemed to bend over the path, as if trying to hide the dwelling from curious eyes. Upon seeing the house, she realized how cruel time had been. The walls were peeling, the roof covered in moss, and the windows clouded with dust. The interior was immersed in an almost reverent silence. Every room seemed suspended in time, the old furniture covered by white sheets and the air thick with the scent of old wood and dried herbs. In the center of the main hall, a wooden staircase led to the upper floor, where the room Donna Augusta always kept locked was located. No family member could remember entering that room, and many said Augusta would spend entire days inside talking to herself. As she climbed, Helena noticed that the once locked door was now ajar. A chill ran down her spine. She slowly pushed the door open, revealing a nearly untouched bedroom. On the opposite wall, a full-length mirror stood out, framed in dark wood, carved with intricate, almost pagan symbols. The glass was spotless, not a single stain or crack, a strange contrast to the general state of the house. Daniel suggested selling it, but something in Helena's eyes said this mirror was different. She couldn't explain, but she felt she shouldn't touch it. Chapter 2 Reflections in the days that followed. Isadora often played in front of the mirror. She spoke alone, gestured, and laughed, as if accompanied. Helena thought it was common childhood fantasy, but became worried when she heard her daughter say, with unsettling naturalness, "The other mommy lets me do everything." When questioned, Isadora explained there was another version of her mother on the other side of the mirror. She was much more fun. Helena tried to ignore it, but slowly began to notice irregularities. The mirror, though old, seemed to have a life of its own. When she passed by it, her reflection had a slight delay, as if the glass were playing a live recording a few milliseconds late. On some occasions, her reflection seemed to blink when she hadn't, or smile when her face was serious. The nights became restless. Helena began to hear whispers coming from the mirror room, incomprehensible phrases, but they seemed to call her by name. Daniel, ever the skeptic, said it was the wind or a psychological effect of the place. But Helena knew something was approaching, something old and hungry. Chapter 3. The other one early morning, Helena had a vivid nightmare. In the dream, she was on the other side of the mirror, trapped in a dark room, watching her family live normally outside. She tried to scream to bang on the glass, but no one could hear her. She woke up sweating and gasping, feeling that it was more than a dream. It was a warning. Determined to understand what was happening, she began to explore the house for clues. In the attic, she found a chest with Augusta's personal items. Among old clothes, herb jars, and yellowed letters, she discovered a diary. The pages spoke of the mirror, its origin brought by a European traveler who claimed the glass didn't reflect. It showed the other side, a mirrored dimension where distorted copies of people existed. According to Augusta, the mirror was a portal, which she had sealed with ancient rituals, learned from a line of female guardians. The diary ended abruptly with a sentence written in trembling letters. "She is tired of waiting. She will try to get out." Chapter 4. The other side. That night, Isadora disappeared. Helena awoke to a scream and ran to her daughter's room, finding the bed empty and the window closed. Panic seized the house. Daniel searched every room while Helena instinctively climbed the stairs toward the mirror. Upon arrival, she saw something that chilled her blood. In the glass, Isadora was on the other side, crying. She pounded on the mirror, screamed, but the image of her daughter only mirrored her desperation. Inside her reflected was a different Helena. Dark eyes, pale skin, a smile that wasn't hers. Daniel entered, saw what Helena saw, and tried to break the mirror with an axe. The impact made a metallic sound, and the blade bounced back violently. The entity smiled and spoke in a low, guttural voice. "You let me in." Chapter 5. The exchange. The imposter's presence in the house became increasingly evident. She walked like Helena, spoke like her, but something was wrong. Her eyes would sometimes darken, like empty wells. The way she looked at Daniel was possessive, not loving. Isadora, though freed, hid from the new mother and cried silently. Helena, still trapped on the other side, found strength in her grandmother's diary. There she learned it was possible to reseal the mirror, but it required performing a reverse ritual, involving the presence of the entity, a blood relative, and the family's free will. For days, Helena on the other side began interacting with Isadora through the glass, teaching gestures and words. Daniel, finally convinced of the truth, helped prepare the ritual. On the appointed night, they drew the containment symbol with coarse salt, charcoal, and black candles around the mirror. Chapter 6. The mirror from the other side. The imposter was lured to the room with Isadora pretending to be sick. When she crossed the threshold of the circle, the candles lit by themselves, and the mirror trembled. The flames rose, and the glass began to shine like a liquid surface. Inside it, other distorted versions of Helena watched. Some screamed, others laughed hysterically. It was an entire world of corrupted reflections. In the center, the real Helena appeared, touching the mirror. The entity tried to escape, but the circle held her. Daniel began reciting the words from the diary, while Isadora repeated the gesture with her real mother on the other side. The entity screamed, its body twisting into inhuman shapes. A gust of wind swept through the room, and the candles went out one by one. With a final scream, the imposter was sucked into the mirror, which cracked down the center. Helena crossed through, falling from the other side of the glass, now free. Epilogue. The new side, the family abandoned the house, sealing the room and burying the mirror in the basement under a reinforced concrete slab and salt. They never returned. Years later, in an antique store in São Paulo, a man bought an old mirror. The dark, ornate frame caught his attention. When he placed it in his bedroom, he noticed a curious detail. The reflection seemed slightly ... delayed, and deep inside a shadow was smiling.